And we are live. Hello, everyone. All right. Oh my God. Today has been insane, and it is only 4:30. Oh, wow. All right. Howdy. Clearwater Chad, nice to see you. Hi, Roxy. Good to see you again. I'm seeing a lot of people I've seen before, so in the interest of not just repeating you over and over again, I'm going to kindly welcome you all in mass. I'm supporting a great cause. Birds aren't real. They are government spy drones, ladies and gentlemen. Government spy drones replaced by Reagan to surveil the American public. There are no birds actually alive today. This is a fact. Don't let the libs tell you anything else. Dude, okay, so we have some crazy, weird stuff to talk about. Okay? Do birds fly? Yeah. So basically, an article today. I'm just gonna jump right into it. And this is gonna be it's gonna be good and bad. In its own way. Let me try to just let me get something open real quick. Okay. 1 second. I'll give everybody a sec because I'm gonna cover this. I'm gonna cover this not because it's like a development. Okay, so don't get your hopes up too high. I'm covering this because it's it's weird, and I didn't expect for it to engulf my entire morning. So we're gonna get through it. We're gonna talk about it. Share some laughs. Ponder. That's what I want you to do today. Put on your pondering hats and be prepared to be like, why at all does this exist? Okay? Let me put this over here. Okay. Let's bust it wide open, shall we? Dr. Eric Berg. Oh. Yeah, I don't give a shit. Dr. Eric Berg answers questions about Scientology and his personal beliefs. Wow. In the America Daily Post. Crazy. He breaks his silence, does he? My favorite part about this, because we're going to read it. My favorite part about this, and I'm sorry that I have to be the one to break this to you, but this is fake. This was posted today, and I cannot imagine in any perceivable world of logic and reason where this can be real. This feels entirely like AI generated. Okay, so Dr. Berg answers questions about Scientology and his personal beliefs. First of all, no one has ever heard of the America Daily Post. And I'm going to get into that a little later. Who's Eric Berg? Yeah, exactly. it doesn't mention Dr. Eric Berg. It doesn't mention anything about him in the title. Let's just absorb this in like piece by piece. There is no introduction from this John Tronconi, whoever that is. I love this. Okay, so no introduction, cold open. There is no introduction to who Dr. Berg is. There is no, you put on your critical thinking caps. Because this was posted this morning, this was sent to me. No introduction. No introduction. We go right into the first question. Okay, this is how I feel like it's kind of like asking ChatGPT, can you make up an interview between an interviewer and, you know, asking Dr. Berg about Scientology and provide links. So what this machine did was it decided to write the weirdest, most vapid interview I've ever seen in my life for this hilariously cowardice man. Now, even in the world where this is real, why here? Why on this nothing website? Look at what happens. Okay, this is their website, right? Let's look at their staff. Okay. Their staff HTML has not it's not doing well. When you click John Tronconi, it just takes you right back to the beginning. There is no information about this guy. There's just a handful of random nonsense articles. That's why I believe this is fake. Okay. Also, when you go to not contact us. When you go to the editorial policy, this is all kind of very textbook, basic, catch-all information. What I think is funnier about this is that apparently you can buy this website on several different. You can just buy this as like a blank article website example. This is the example site. Like this whole thing is an example of what you can purchase for $450. Okay. Am I making any sense? You think I'm crazy yet? Let's continue. Dr. Berg answers questions about Scientology and his personal beliefs. Well, let's see what does he have to say. Oh, let me real quick. You might have already read it by now. That's okay. We're going to go through it again together. First question. Are you a Scientologist? This is the interview. This is the cold open interview. Oh, here come the Dr. Berg fans, everybody. Welcome in the Dr. Berg stands who will blindly appreciate a man for just talking about a single subject, taking your money, donating it to a human trafficking cult that abuses children, covers up the abuse of children as well. And then you're like, oh no, but that's fine because he tells me not to eat sugar. See how dumb you sound? Anyway, I just love it. This is some disgusting level of clickbait Ian disliked. He thinks Dr. Berg thinks he can cure cancer and has never spent a day studying practical, like, medical techniques. This man is criminally insane. Anyway, I'm hot today. You know what I'm saying? Okay, so it starts off in this, like, really bizarre cold open. Are you a Scientologist? Yes, I have been a Scientologist for 30 years. My whole life has been searching for wisdom. This led me to discover Scientology in 1993. It's the same drive for truth that has fueled my work in health and wellness. Fun fact, my dad, Dr. Berg, my biological father, by the way, did not discover Scientology in 1993. His wife did. What does the word Scientology mean? Which is such a fucking stupid question, first of all. Now, let's get into this robust topic. What does the word mean? Nobody would ask that. This is not a real, this leads me to, like, think if this was, like, a real interview, that this was just a shorthand purchased website and that they curated an article. It's just so dumb. I can't imagine how, this is just, I'm getting ahead of myself. I'm reacting because I've already read it. I should stop myself while I'm ahead. What does the word Scientology mean? Blah, blah, blah. The term comes from Latin sceo, meaning knowing in the fullest sense of the word. I mean, this changes around. This is just something you say. Everything links out directly to Scientology, like Scientology propaganda, which I think is just icing on the cake. What types of things in Scientology do you donate to? Great question, he says. Like other religions, Scientology works to help people of all races, colors, and creeds. Okay. Races, colors, and creeds. Races and colors. It seems a little needless, a little redundant to say races and colors. But I digress. He doesn't. He's not very bright. Neither is this AI. When it comes to helping others, religion and politics play no part. We're all members of the human race. You see, first, there it is. Ladies and gentlemen, the first typo. The human race. Also, he's an incredibly political person. In his life, he is extremely far-right, pro-fascist kind of douchebag. So, like, very much so. Like, I've made other content and videos about that. I also discussed it in a previous stream. But yeah, so this is just a funny, like, assumption that he wouldn't say. This is just uncharacteristic of him. I donate to a campaign called The Truth About Drugs. He doesn't. Run by the Foundation for a Drug-Free World, a non-religious nonprofit that is sponsored by the Church of Scientology. More than 3.4 million children around the world have pledged to be drug-free marshals, sending a positive message to their friends and communities. Yes, Dr. Berg has single-handedly stopped the popularity of drugs by getting children to sign a pledge. He has not himself had children sign this pledge. He doesn't want to be seen in the room with these people on a public stage. This is not his affiliation does not go that far. He is not confident enough about his ability to talk in defense of Scientology, like off the cuff, to do anything in the public. He also doesn't respond to offers to do interviews. So this is exceptionally goofy. Okay? Exceptionally goofy. I'm just realizing my sword hasn't... There we go. We're going to war. So, The campaign has also distributed 100 truth about drugs educational booklets around the world. 100? I didn't even read all of this. I skimmed this. I'm not going to lie. I skimmed this. It's distributed 100 booklets around the world. That could have gone to at least... Carry the 4. At least 100 people. And produced a series of beautifully produced PSAs to educate kids on exactly what drugs are and what they do to the body and mind. Now, this is a delightfully shitty sentence, in the sense that he's not by any means a fantastic writer. He writes about what he knows about, and he likes details, but he needs a lot of proofreading. He actually, up until a few years ago, has had he had to regraft his book because he said, like, you need like 12 cups of salt or something, or like some salt thing that he had that was wrong in his book that he didn't catch for many years. So he's not overly worried. This is like, I'm still unsure if this is fake, by the way. I'm still unsure this is fake, because he is willing to lie for the church. He himself, on behalf of this question or this answer, he himself only donates directly to the IAS, the International Association of Scientologists, which is the fundraising arm of Scientology. They do fundraising, very aggressive fundraising for all of the different campaigns, the CCHR, Youth for Human Rights, Truth About Drugs, all these things, kind of masquerading, piggybacking off of like the hottest issues or some actual areas of real change to convert people to Scientology, to get them on the bridge to total freedom, to charge them tens of thousands of dollars. It's just, it's very bizarre. He doesn't give a shit about any of this stuff. He doesn't think that, like, these people know what to do. He thinks the only real route is to just get on the bridge, do some auditing, fix that. Obviously, as a rich white guy, he has every means to describe to the rest of the world what they should be doing. But I digress. Someone said, as if it's tens of people have received the booklet. Tens of people? God damn. Dog. Anyway. So like he'll donate directly. Also, he'll donate in like these packages when he knows he's going to get something, when he knows he's going to get like an award or like a trip to Italy or something. They'll cheese him up before he donates a lot. He'll also donate to the org openings, like the real estate scam that they're doing, where they're just like leaving these in progress buildings open so that their members will like scrape together every last dime that they possibly can and give it to management, and instead of opening the building like they're supposed to or like they could easily do, they just give it to David Miscavige and use it for his legal fees. Scientology recently just randomly bought a $13 million building in LA, an old church converted into an office building. After there's been like a dozen what are called ideal orgs or future new churches of Scientology in these massive buildings, waiting to be open, but there's just not enough money in the to open these buildings. And then management goes and spends fucking tens of millions of dollars on this other completely useless shit. I mean, it's all useless, but like from the Scientologist perspective, you got to realize that's bullshit. And so we got a drugfreeworld.org link, and we got a Scientology How We Help Truth About Drugs link, slide 2. I'm not going to click these links because I've been there before. I also donated to the United for Human Rights campaign, an organization that works to promote the Universal Declaration of Human Rights, a document drafted by the United Nations in 1948. Like he doesn't, like he's saying this like this guy's never heard of the Universal Declaration of Human Rights. I mean, this guy, this John Tricone guy doesn't exist. But I love that this is like the description. I believe this is fake, which is why, like, in my heart of hearts, I know this is fake, but that's going to only play into what I found later on, which is a rabbit hole I did not expect to fall into. So just bear with me, please. Can you do that? Thank you. What's your point? There's nothing wrong with donating. Have you ever heard of human trafficking? What if you donated to Jeffrey Epstein's island pajama party fun time? Is then there a problem with donating? Yeah. Keep your mouth shut before you actually think of what you want to say. Within Scientology, okay, I just skipped over that. He just talks. This is just talking about the. This is just like preaching. This is proselytizing. Within Scientology, there's a technology of how to study tech. And it's not like, what is he asking? He's just asking, what types of things do you donate to? Down here, he doesn't even talk about donating. He says there's nothing about donating down here. Within Scientology, there is a technology of how to study tech, and it's nothing short of revolutionary. In short, it's technology on how anyone can study anything and actually learn, and by able to use what they studied. I contribute to Applied. There he goes. I didn't even see that. I contribute to Applied Scholastics International, which gets this technology out globally, trains teachers, and helps them open and operate schools all over the world. That's a lie. That's just false. That's propaganda. That doesn't actually happen. Actually, Applied Scholastic schools do not require you be a certified teacher. Actually, they, as a legal requirement, need one legitimately trained person on staff at the school, but they do not hire educators. They hire supervisors, which is a Scientology term for someone who observes and like watches some, like there's no teaching involved. This is like, I'm supervising you learning this thing that I have nothing to do with and no understanding of, but I'm going to there's like a whole technology to it. There's a whole method on how people do this, but it has nothing to do with teaching. So I love this little, they train teachers. They don't. If you don't know that you should look your words up in a dictionary if you don't know what they mean, buy a dictionary. I don't know. It's not that revolutionizing. It's not revolutionary. You know what I mean? Why help the homeless when you can just hide the money in real estate? I couldn't have said it better myself. Why not just hoard like a dragon in a cave, clutching his coins, like shoving them in his nose and like laying in it? Like, fuck the homeless, am I right? Yeah, fuck people who actually need, fuck the like 6 million starving children in the world. Yeah, they don't need food. They'll be fine. Give to Scientology. Oh, we got a Scientologist in the chat. Prodigus thoughts. Found you. Like now he's talking about spelling, yet his father helped more people than Big Pharma. What the fuck does that even mean? What the fuck does that even mean? That doesn't mean, that's that's gibberish, my friend. Tell me what that means. What is Scientology? I'm in Miami. Okay, so this person's just a few brain cells short of helpful in this scenario. You tell us. I tell you. You came in the chat asking questions. Come on. What's your leg to stand on? Are you my long-lost sibling who also spent your life around this man? No, I don't think so. Come on, give us something. Give us something that's actually stimulating, or you're going in the hole. One thing you get. Your next comment needs to be entertaining, or you're going in the hole. Come on, it's your chance. We'll wait. Ding 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 ding. Chad says send him to Chad. Yeah, you want to learn about Scientology? You talk to Clearwater Chad. Oh, you have nothing to say? Oh, I'm sorry. Oh, we scared him off. Guy, stupid. I should have been nicer to him. Okay. Back to my whatever the fuck we were doing. Okay. Why don't you ever mention Scientology in your videos? Which is a good question. Because you'd think if people wanted to improve themselves, which seems something he wants to do, that... okay. Anyway, if it seems like you want to help people, wouldn't you think that spreading your helpful religion is a part of that? No. What this says, I love this. It's not appropriate. My health channel is about health, not my philosophy or religion. This contradicts itself later on. But I respect other people's viewpoints, no matter what their faith or lack of it. People can believe and have whatever viewpoint they wish. It makes life interesting. I judge people based on their character, not what religion they are. Are they a good person? Do they treat others well? These are qualities I respect. Now, this is how I know this was not written by him. Okay? This is so far from what he actually believes. This is like a corporate PR kind of answer. But I love it because it contradicts a lot of the things he's that this bot or whatever says later on. He's incredibly xenophobic, by the way. This man was literally at the January 6th insurrection with my mom. Yeah, he judges people based on their sexual orientation. He judges people based on. I've heard him like talk about how like. I think he's like white dad racist. I don't think he's like he actually knows why he's racist, but he's white American dad, kind of like a 5, like straight down the middle, kind of like he's obviously not going to talk about it, but he doesn't like the low income communities. If you get what I'm saying. He's also extremely fat phobic, which I think is hilarious. One of the things one of the most ironic parts of his character is that he's so like interested in getting you healthy, but he's also so repulsed by overweight people that it almost works together. It's almost like his goal is to be so fat phobic that he pressures every human being, no matter what their background, to stop being a fatty McFatterson, which is words. He's said that. He said fatty McFatterson to me. Personally. He uses these dumb little colloquialisms like I agree with him. This man is not well. And very, very corny. But this will contradict itself. And then he just adds the Scientology.org FAQ, which doesn't, like, if you're afraid to talk about something, even passively, that should tell you how you feel about you being in it. Because who would pay $450 for an AI written article? I don't know. Doesn't sound like what we know Scientology does, but it's just so random. Like, who else would have done it? That's what I'm saying. Like, this was so confusing for me. And what's weird is that it sounds like this kind of quasi-authentic stance that's sort of organically concocted, and there's like these weird points where he's like being honest, but it has nothing to do with his actual story. Like, it's like this genuine, it's an artificial genuine nature to the whole like structure of it. I just don't think that I don't think this is real. And if it is real, why post it wherever this is? Why not post it on Twitter? Why not post it? Why isn't this on any of his other social media accounts? Because it's not. So it's just weird. It's just confusing. My brain hurt. What made you look into Scientology, a subject so controversial to say the least? In my first associate job in the early 90s, the lead doctor told me, whatever you do, don't ever get into Scientology. It's weird. It's a cult. They will take all your money. You'll go bankrupt and end up getting a divorce. Well, I guess we've seen his future. That was interesting because that doctor was going broke, filing for bankruptcy, and was getting a divorce. Homie, you're working for him. This is his L just as much as it is yours. Scientology is, first of all, not the only reason people go broke or get divorced or go bankrupt. Capitalism does that to most Americans. But, you know, and certain more vicious business practices and layoffs and etc. But like, this dude's going out of his way. I'm appealing to the context of this story that is laid out in front of me as if it is genuine, for the sake of whoopsies it was real, whoopsies it wasn't real. I am siphoning the energy, okay, that this is giving off. This is fueling me. All right, where are we at? Right, so he roasts this guy because he's getting a divorce, and like, that's such a weird jump. Like, whatever you do, don't get into Scientology. It's a cult. They'll take all your money and you'll go bankrupt and getting a divorce. But that was interesting because this guy's going through that. So maybe I should join Scientology. Like, what kind of fucking A+ banana equals like the ocean kind of bullshit mentality you got to be in? This was interesting. Okay, his comments made me want to look into the subject even more. You tell me not to look, I will look. I asked this doctor what made him say this. Did he personally have a bad experience? He never had any contact with the subject, never did any Scientology courses, or even read a Scientology book. It was based on rumors. On rumors, he says. Well, have you ever met Jim Jones? Did you ever drink the Kool-Aid? No. So what you're just talking about is rumors. Did David Koresh ever touch you? Were you ever in Waco? Did he ever ask to marry your child daughter? No? Well, maybe these are just rumors. Okay, I'm going to look into that now. This is what it sounds like to me. Where was I? So I decided to check it out. Ordered Mr. Hubbard's book about study and learning. Okay, this is not how Scientologists talk. And started reading it. My thought was it's just like chiropractic. Were you to ask your MD about chiropractors, you might get a biased answer. Okay, well, that's because they do different things. And it's a more laborious task to get into and through medical school than it is to get into and through chiropractic college. Okay, there is more on the spectrum of help and aggregated scientific advancements and knowledge in the field of, medicine, as opposed to cracking bones. Not saying that there's a benefit. I'm not going to comment on chiropractic because I really don't care enough to debunk whether or not chiropractic is helpful or not. I do decompression because I'm tall, so I gotta stretch out the old spine, but I don't. Nothing's a one cause, like nothing's a cure-all for anything, unless you're a Scientologist, in which case the only cure-all is Scientology. Even if you are poor, because of Scientology, that's more of a reason to do Scientology. Didn't you know? Just pay for more Scientology. We'll teach you how to not be broke. It'll cost you $1,200. I'm sidetracking myself so hard. I see this in... I missed the first part of this vid. Is this something Eric wrote recently? This was posted today. I'm just looking. Somebody sent me this article, and I'm just reviewing it. I don't think it's real, but if it is real, this is very bizarre because this is on some kind of like for sale article website that I guess. It's just really weird. It's kind of just a cold open, sort of weird Scientology biased positive press kind of piece. Like a pro PR, like, oh, see, I did cover it. Oh, I did talk about it 2 years after I was, accused of donating millions of dollars to a human trafficking cult. And so I know it's not real. This is just the most interesting thing that's happened to me today. So I just thought, why not talk about it? In the off chance that he sees this, the very off chance, he doesn't watch my videos. He's way too big of a pussy. To, my chance to just react to this, explain why it's fake, also what the differences are from like how it would actually sound if he did, because if he did talk about it, it would be in most regards along with a professional, it would be professionally recorded. I feel like if he were to make a response like this or do an interview like this, it would be curated by Scientology, probably as part of like a slander campaign against me. Like they buy whoisianrafalcoreally.com and they or whoisianberg.com and they get my family to say a bunch of crazy bullshit about me, or they get people that I was on staff with to talk shit about me on behalf of their cult, to which they are indebted for their indentured servitude. It sounds a little weird, a little wacky, a little wild, a little whimsical. But that's just what I see as being the most likely. He's not going to risk his reputation. He has nothing else going on in his life except for his whole nutritional shenanigans. So I think showing the contrast between like why this is bullshit and what it would actually sound like is important. But I also got into kind of a rabbit hole when I looked deeper into this. And it's dumb, it's goofy, it's weird, it's wild, it's wacky. But here I am, talking to you. Here you are, watching you. I read all your comments. I know who's watching you, watching me, watching you, watching me. I'm watching you, watching me, watching you, watching me. How do you like that? How does that sound? I lost a brother to drugs too. Family was a train wreck. Again, drugs and people who take hard drugs and people with substance abuse problems. I feel for them completely. I have my problems with I used to have a very addictive personality, and needed coffee. I smoked like a chimney. Trying, even today to teeter off that. So despite my actual, and I've lost friends to drug abuse. My friends have lost, I had a friend lose his life due to heroin abuse. So I'm not against people getting off drugs. I just know Scientology is the last place to go if you want to get off drugs. I've totally lost the plot on this article. Where are we going? Who saw the Super Mario Brothers movie? I saw that shit on Wednesday, and I was actually it was very bland, but it was very I enjoyed it personally. There's a little baby infant part of my brain that's like the way they did the music was really like moving for my inner child, I enjoyed it. It was pretty cool. It was very like standard movie plot with predictable ending, but I mean, it's Mario. It was pretty cool. Just segueing so I can buy some time to figure out where I was. Oh, okay. What made you look into Scientology? Okay, so he said the base on room, so I decided to check it out, ordered Mr. Hubbard's book about studying and learning, and started reading it. My thought was that it's just like chiropractic. Oh, right. You might get a bit biased answer. I see this in healthcare all the time, which he is not in. He is not in healthcare. You must only listen to healthcare professionals credentialed by certified institutions. Don't listen to all that nonsense misinformation on alternative healthcare. It's all quackery. Even this, this is why it sounds like something he would say in this funny, they tell me not to listen to people who say take ivermectin for something, but he actually thinks like this, which is why I was like, is this real? Is this fake? But no, I don't believe that he actually came out of his little bubble to do this. I think this is completely written by AI. He also doesn't talk like a Scientologist. He doesn't talk like he talks. This isn't how he would describe things. And it's not really how Scientologists would describe, he's not really using the kind of verbiage. He's not regarding the materials in the way that a Scientologist would regard the materials. But I love that, just people tell me all the time, stop listening to misinformation quacks on the internet. But when you tell me not to look, that makes me want to look. I'm like, that's not a good thing, bro. Go back to school. Home dog, go back to school. Go back to school. Go to medical school if you're so smart. Jesus. Prove all the doctors wrong and get your degree. Get a PhD. Get a doctorate. Rebrand the science if you're such a fucking genius. God. But he doesn't, because he's a coward and he doesn't actually know what he's talking about. He works off of orchestrated confirmation bias, where he can delete every bad and negative review so that it looks like he's very popular to you, and people are like, you think you're like, oh, well, everybody else likes him, he must be smart. I'd say there's a tremendous amount of bad. I mean, I used to help run the social media moderation for his company. I know he has a lot of critics, but they just fade into the distance when they're deleted by him. I love this. My validation process on what is true or false is not blindly following mainstream anything, science, religion, philosophy, or politics. I want to know and understand how things work If there's something helpful or useful, I will learn and use it. What I found out in Scientology was the opposite of what a few overly critical people were saying. This is a man who had sent all of his children away to Scientology indoctrination schools. He sent me to a school in Daddle, New Mexico, where I was trafficked for my labor by the dean of a troubled teen school. He's propagated something he says that doesn't exist, but probably if you asked him what the definition of human trafficking was, he wouldn't be able to tell you. I think he's afraid to look it up. It's the one MU that he's really afraid of. The one misunderstood word that'll take down Dr. Berg is human trafficking. But he knows that this stuff is happening. He just doesn't see it as human trafficking because Scientology he's all brain broken about it. Let's see. The first book I read in Scientology, the Basic Study Manual, gave me a completely new method on how to study and learn in school. How to study and learn, period. In school, I struggled to get good grades and thought I just wasn't smart enough. But in truth, after reading this book, I realized I was never taught the best way to learn or study anything. I was instead told to memorize things. Memorization is not learning or understanding. Okay. But don't go back to school. But don't go back to school. Okay. Now, you thought you were dumb in school. You didn't really care. But you're not going to learn anything new. You're not going to take this. You see what I'm saying? You're not going to use this good you're not going to use this good tool. This is a book for children, or for like illiterate people. There's an even more boiled down book that is for illiterate people that literally like breaks down like, this is what the word I means, and this is what the word the means, and what the word can, cannot, can't. What's a contraction? What's a article? Like even that I could understand, but there are peppered through Scientology definitions and Scientology kind of like whatever in that book too. So, but the Basic Study Manual is if this changed his life, it didn't. This is fake. I should stop acknowledging that fact. We should just pretend this is real, to be honest. This is not what blew his mind. I think he did auditing first. He and my mother, when we lived in just before I was born, my parents lived in Shreveport, Louisiana, which is where I was born. And they started doing services my mom started doing services at Baton Rouge Mission, at the Baton Rouge Mission, I believe. And which is like a mission is like a small church of Scientology. It's like a tiny one that you do introductory services at. I think they both did auditing there. My mom liked it. My dad didn't like it as much. And so she got him into Scientology. He was like, okay, but whatever. Like, he actually didn't like Scientology as much for a long time. He saw that they were good and whatever, but like they harassed him a lot for donations. So he wasn't a big fan, but he submitted because my mom has like a very domineering personality, to say the least. So this is already false. I mean, we're already false. We're like 10 false paragraphs in. After reading this book, I became obsessed with learning and could take something complex and get through it. As compared to reading something, getting to the end and wondering, what did I just read? I said to myself, if this is Scientology, sign me up. What else do you got? This is like a textbook. This is like in Scientology, in like the the description of the BSM, the Basic Study Manual, on like the bridge.com website where they sell the books. I feel like this is almost like word for word how they describe it. Like this is a very common, the what did I just, getting to the end and wondering what did I just read. That's like almost like a scripted phrase that they use when they're selling this book. And then again, so because this is what made you look into Scientology, a subject so controversial to say the least, the links are Scientology.org, the FAQ, and Stand League. Stand League is literally the Twitter troll Scientology arm where they all they do is post like threatening and hateful like cultist propaganda, both piggybacking off of like actual marginalized communities and like comparing themselves, like they use propaganda that literally compares them to Holocaust victims and like boistering up like anti-Jewish hate and being like, we're with you because we're feeling the same thing that you felt in Nazi Germany as Scientologists. It's like delusional. But they also have fierce, hateful campaigns against Leah Remini. And what I love about that, he linked standleague.org. And in the next section, he does something. It does something very cute. Okay. I do think this was made by a Scientologist, but I don't think this was made by him. Why do you think Scientology is talked about in a negative light and attacked? What do you think he's going to say? This is fascinating to me. Why would someone dedicate an entire YouTube channel or blog to attacking Scientology or anything for that matter? Why would someone dedicate an entire channel or account to hate, to attacking something, to attacking anything? Are you, is this picking me up? He says anything. Anything. Am I taking crazy pills? Is that not like hilarious? Why would anyone attack anything for any reason? And he links Stand League right there. Like who like either this is the most elaborate troll I've ever seen in my life, or this is just AI unchained. Scientologists are learning to use AI. That would destroy Scientology, though, to be honest, because, well, I'm not going to spoil the surprise. I think there are two types of people. People that focus on helping and those that focus on destroying. You'll see this all over the place in the media, online, and on YouTube. Entire channels based on criticizing and degrading things. One example is the ketogenic diet. So then this derails off into other things, which makes me think that it's him because of his logic. But then it's just really a really dumb response. Okay, so he says I think there are two types of people that focus on helping and those that focus on destroying. He thinks that those are the only two kind of people in the world. Okay, which shows his kind of cultic, self-sealing sort of cult mindset. But also, he completely wipes out the nuance in why people criticize. What is a critique of anything? And in Scientology, if you are critical of anything, you have done crimes against that thing. There are crimes that you're hiding that are making you angry at that thing. Like you've done something against it, and and mostly these crimes are like when they bring you in, if it's something very small, you'll have to like think, oh yeah, this somewhat related distant thing where I took candy out of the bowl of my leasing office without asking for it. It looked like it was there for people, but I don't really know if it was there. So that's why I hate my apartment complex. And It's literally like that insane. So I think there's a lot of when you look at sort of Scientology as a group, you're allowed to critique it when you're not in Scientology. You're allowed to, if you are a Catholic, you're allowed to critique Catholicism. If you're Jewish, you're allowed to critique, Judaism. I just feel that that's a right thing to do, because in order to believe something, in order to just give your entire self-worth to a faith that you believe in, a faith, by the way, that does not require the ultimate evidence of everything, but that you believe is true, which I have some respect for. In a certain circumstance, I can have respect for somebody who has faith. But Scientologists do not have faith. Okay, Scientologists are they believe that their services, they believe that their ideology and their technology is evidence. They think it is all evidence-based. They think it's all reality. There is nothing to believe in. You just have to watch it work. Now, this is very naive, especially because you're kind of there's a method in Scientology of sort of anecdotal group agreement where, like, the proof is in what you get out of it, right? So the proof is in this sort of anecdotal agreement. There's no studies done. There is it's actually forbidden to expose Scientology technology to, like, external scrutiny, because the only way Scientology works is if it's done absolutely to the letter with a trained professional who knows everything about it. And even then, it's still like anyone who isn't in good standing with Scientology can, will, and always has altered the technology. This is their mindset. This is their sort of assumed position from policy written by L. Ron Hubbard. So this idea that so when people come after Scientology for actual allegations of things like human trafficking or covering up of child sexual abuse, that shout out to child predator Johnny Maurer. Lives in Clearwater, Florida. He's a Scientology protected pedophile, Jonathan Maurer. Sorry, is this on? Is it Johnny Maurer confirmed Scientologist sex offender? What you see is the response being like, oh, well, that's one person. That has nothing to do with Scientology. What crimes did you do against Scientology that are causing you to be upset? Okay. But this isn't how critical thinking works. This is a misdefinition. They've actually supplanted their concept of critical thinking with this dogmatic idea of sort of systematic, spiritual, karmic certainty that, like, he's critical, he's already done crimes. He has a critique, he's already done crimes. You replace all the subtext and the subjective, like, body of the issue or the allegation with just they're not really interested in details. If somebody says human trafficking, there's no human trafficking. They're not interested in human trafficking. They've done crimes, therefore they're lying. This is literally how Scientologists think. This is how I used to think. That's how I know what they're thinking, is because I used to think like this. I was raised by this man. And am still, like, shedding some of his toxic, disgusting viewpoints from my psyche. But that's why therapy is good. That's why you should go to therapy, guys. I'm gonna get to the end of this because there's more. Okay, so he says one example is the ketogenic diet. Certain vegan gurus spend most of, if not all, their videos on debunking or degrading any keto channel that gets attention. Yours truly. In these channels, you won't find helpful information on what a vegan should eat or data on vegan food that promotes health. No. Instead, they debug one keto guy or gal after another. Why can't they focus on health and let the person see what works for them? People have the right to eat whatever they want. It's ridiculous. This is also dumb because, one, it overgeneralizes something I believe that is a suppressive trait in Scientology, to use broad generalities. I believe that's actually not allowed. Second of all, you're generalizing nutritional requisites of the entire world. What I mean by that is he's saying certain vegan gurus. So he has two people. He has like two or more people that he is kind of honed in on, that he's spiting, okay, with this, that do this. He doesn't watch vegan content. He thinks vegans are crazy. He thinks even if you're allergic to meat or meat products or meat fats or whatever, he has no alternative for you. You are fucked. Like Scientology wanting to get rid of all of psychiatry but having zero alternative for mental health support or therapy or treatment. They have zero alternative, just like he has zero alternative for his broken, secluded system. If keto works for you, it doesn't matter what Dr. Eric Berg says. You'll be just fine doing it how literally everyone else says to do it. But because he literally blankets his content with misinformation and misleading reductions of actual science, it's like easier to understand. Like he boils it down in this way of like removing important context, using a couple big words so he sounds smart, and then dropping the subject altogether. And then like in like a month, he just makes another video about the same subject. He's just a shit poster, honestly. But everyone needs different stuff. It also, you posting, like you posting content, like Dr. Berg posting content about keto, does not alleviate the fact that he is giving money to a human trafficking cult that will use that money to pay for people to fly across the country to some bumfuck church in Alabama, wherever, to discipline a child molester who's a Scientologist molesting a child Scientologist, not reporting anything to authorities, removing that person, putting them in a different Scientology community where they're going to do the same shit and no record of it. And they lie about his past and they make up stories about this guy. That money comes from Dr. Berg's pocket. There are other whales who donate to Scientology, but like this just so completely blankets you as bad, so you take your attention off of the details. Like it's trying to like do like an emotional gotcha, like I'm not just a negative person, let me protect my character. No, I'm focused on the facts, on the details. Abel S., thank you so much for the super chat. Facts. That's all it is. If I don't know it, I'll tell you I don't know it. If I don't know anything about it, I'll say I don't really know much about this. Will Dr. Berg do that? Fuck no. He wants your money. He wants to uphold his bougie lifestyle and give money to a human trafficking cult that he thinks is the most altruistic, beautiful group in the whole world that could never do anything wrong. But if you say anything about them, you're a fucking evil piece of shit. How dare you talk about Scientology in such an awful light? How dare you bring up allegations with a tremendous amount of evidence and details and witness testimony? Well, those witnesses are obviously criminals. Like victim shaming, victim shaming, victim shaming. That's all he fucking does. Denver Stevo, thank you for the super sticker. Oh, holy shit. I was like, what? Is that a poop emoji with wings on it? I get it. Like, and trust me, I have no shortage of Dr. Berg fans who come up in my comments and they're like, I don't care what he's done, I love him and he's saved my life, which is such an objective, such a subjective like stance to take. And I'm not exaggerating this next thing. Every single person who, after they comment that, I inform them he donates to a human trafficking cult that covers up the abuse of children, not a single person responds to me. Not a single person backs up their whole, I love him, he saved my life. I can boil that down to a lack of conviction. Doesn't matter. Doesn't really matter. None of this matters. Okay? What matters is the nuance. Why am I talking shit about my dad? What am I saying about Scientology that makes it dangerous to give money to Dr. Eric Berg at this point in his life where he's doing this? Like, the nuance is too important. But the state of the collective attention span, I understand. It's not big enough, wide enough. You know, you need the subway surfers in the background. You need the power washing videos. I understand. But I would be remiss if I didn't live by what I know. And because I was raised in a cult, I do not have a lot of foundation, to fall back on. I did a lot of independent schooling for myself because my parents were not interested in helping me pursue a higher education. So, I had the benefit of looking into the different fields of rational thought and comparing it to Scientology. Since Scientology is just, I only saw it ruin people's lives, and I've only seen, like, it's a common thing to change your viewpoint of someone when you know them in Scientology and then they join the Sea Org. There's a part of your mind that'll kind of be like, oh, so they're going to be mean now, because you don't talk normally around Sea Org members because they are, how do I say, on purpose. They are dedicated to scrutinizing and keeping control over their technology. So they become very rigid and harsh. And the way to succeed in Scientology is to be the biggest piece of shit you can possibly be. The more people you brutalize into submission under the guise of standard tech, the more popular you are as a Sea Org member. I have seen this dozens of times. If you are feared, that's a good thing, which is why none of it phases me. It's not like, but your opinion's different. It's like, no, I know why their opinion is different, and I'm just not buying it. You can't lie to me. I was there. I'll continue before this goes too much longer. Okay, it's not. I've streamed for much longer. People, why they can't focus on health and let the person see what works for them. People have the right to eat whatever they want. It's ridiculous. This is a bastardization of his actual personality, because I have never, this man does not talk about anything in his spare time except for how disgusting and how vile and awful unhealthy like a new food is that he thinks is unhealthy, and people are gross for eating this, and this is rotting your insides and blah blah blah, and X, Y, and Z. This is not the kind of stuff he would focus on. Okay, he says, same thing with anti-Scientology channels. Do they ever tell you a better philosophy to live by? And this is classic Scientology hypocrisy. Do they ever give you any strategies for personal success or life skills? No, they do not. These guys, for some weird reason, will say anything to get you to not look at it. I find this very interesting. You know what that's called? Experience. I know more about Scientology than Dr. Berg does, which is weird because he's OT8. Yet all OT8 is really is what's written on the page, what you find out about yourself, which I know, and because it's publicly accessible information. And I've also trained more than he did in Scientology. I trained as a staff member, as an out-of-org trainee, when I at Flag, under pressure for 11 months, 360, well, because it wasn't a full 365 days, 7 days a week, 14 hours a day. Okay? He wouldn't do that if he was being paid $1 million for it. He doesn't like the intense stuff. He's not interested in any of that. If it's not at his pace, he doesn't want it. So I actually saw what it's like to actually have your nose in the fucking carpet. And this is bullshit. First of all, conflating anti-Scientology channels with self-help channels. Another overgeneralization. Let's do a thought experiment. A man is abused by Scientology. He talks outwardly about, hey, I don't know how many people are saying this, but I don't think you guys should go to Scientology. This is what happened to me. I've heard this has happened to many other people. Let's talk about what happens to people. And somebody says, hey, I don't believe that. Give us more evidence. So over a process of months, weeks, years, this person will provide evidence on this YouTube channel to sort of give a more pervasive thought process and body of knowledge on the subject of Scientology that they themselves won't give you. This is not a self-help channel. Okay, this is a subjective purpose this person has. There are billions of people, billions of purposes. That's not my interest. PK, thank you for the super sticker. Oh my God, that's so I appreciate that. I lost my train of thought. PK, what have you done? No, I'm just kidding. This is not a self-help channel. So this do they ever tell you a better philosophy to live by? That's like, well, do they they say Scientology is wrong, but do they tell you which of the 4,000 known religions and gods are actually correct? That's what he's saying. That's what he's doing. He's not talking about evidence-based therapy, or he's not talking about anything. He's just overgeneralizing and conflating a viewpoint. He's afraid, which is why this feels real. But there's no way it's real. Okay? There's no way. There's no way this is real. He needs to make a video on his YouTube channel, or it didn't happen. So, and these guys will say anything to get you to not look at it. I don't care if you read Scientology. I care if you buy it, because if you're buying it, this is what you're giving your money towards. This is what you're buying into. There's a psychological trap you can literally get into by paying for something to see if it works, receiving a lot of anecdotal beneficial information, conflating that with, oh, this is my gain. I've already sacrificed a little bit of money. Maybe I'll sacrifice a little bit more. It's like a gradual grooming process of brainwashing in Scientology. It's like anyone who's left Scientology can tell you. Anyone who's in Scientology could probably tell you. You'd have to lead them in a certain way to like talking about the individual actions that got them into Scientology. Usually it'll just say, I did this one small thing that helped me, and then I did another small thing that helped me. And then if you're consistent enough, there's literally like studied phenomena where you are more likely to buy into it if you've already spent money on it, if you've already kind of engaged in this anecdotal sacrifice of your own kind of, maybe I shouldn't pay for this, maybe I should watch out. You know, you give yourself into it. But like these two things are not the same in this one. We live in a PR world with hidden agendas all over the place. This is why I rarely listen to mainstream news. And as I feel they are slowly trying to indoctrinate me, at least Scientology doesn't tell you what to believe. It's just, here's some helpful information, see if you can use it. But if it's not something you have to believe in, but it's not something that is so bullshit. That is the biggest piece of bullshit I've ever read, which is why I think this is false. I don't think he would come out and say such a bold-faced lie. I mean, he's a big enough coward, I would believe it, but like in public, I don't know. I don't know if he would embarrass himself like that. That is total bullshit. I find it to be super helpful, practical, common sense stuff. Yeah, common sense stuff that, you know, when Xenu bombed all those Thetans and sprinkled and brainwashed their bodies and sprinkled it back onto people, and how I'm like a past life entity that built human bodies and designed them like this is like it's a fucking game of Operation. Yeah, just common sense stuff. Oh, we got another one. Yeah, some people are being dumb. Like this drummer guy who was in the chat, he was like, I've done more Scientology, but I left. I found it was completely useful. It's like, then why'd you get fucking declared, dumbass? Then you're bad at your job, dog. I put him in the hole. Have him get his ethics in. Talking over myself all over the place. I don't prepare for these, if you don't realize. I just put the shit up in my tabs and I just let it run. You know, I think it's easier for me to talk to you. You know, you know, it's I'll just handle the people as they come up. He's trying to get back in by trolling you. Trying to get back. Oh, he's trying to get back in the call. Yeah, except I see it like a fucking, like I have like a spider sense about these kind of people. Like I know when they're just trolling and I know when they're dumb. I think some of these people are just sort of knowingly pessimistic about the whole thing. Doesn't affect me really much at all. What's next? But they'll bother you. Like they'll kind of they'll go after the chat and they'll kind of try to gaslight the chat and like pick on people, and like it's just very disgusting. It's very indicative of Scientology's behavior, but you know, I we just don't need that. Like I have thick enough skin to deal with these people, but I don't want people who are just in the chat to be in the chat and fuck around, to be like, to feel like they're being singled out or attacked by, you know, gaslighting cultists or ex-cult. I mean, he's basically still a part of Scientology, even if they don't want him there. I mean, if he co-signs it, that's all you really need to do. People have like offshoots of Scientology where they have like OT 25 or whatever. And I just can't for the life of me relate to that level of narcissism. Like the amount of narcissism you have to have to like, first of all, believe in Scientology in the kind of high level, minute understanding like that many OTs have, or to think alternatively that you are not only the smartest, you are not only so incredibly smart as a spiritual being that you idealize this goal to such a degree that like you took on L. Ron Hubbard's goal and you actually were able to figure out what the OT levels actually were. Like, this is mental illness. And I think they have a shot for there's this new drug for schizophrenia. Here it works really well. It's like one shot every 6 months. You should look into that. If you think that you're going to figure out the next OT levels, you should probably, if you're communicating with body thetans on a daily basis, you might need some antipsychotics. Never taken it myself, but I never telepathically spoke to body thetans. Maybe that's my problem. I mean, fuck me. It's quite okay. We live in a PR world. This is why I rarely listen to blah, 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 blah. Not something you have to believe in. That's bullshit. I find it to be super helpful, practical, common sense stuff. I have done almost every service and read every book and never found anything weird at all. That says more about him than it does about Scientology. Because if you read A History of Man, written by L. Ron Hubbard, which is a basic book in Scientology, there is weird shit in that book. There's like like devices shaped like clams where your spirit was sucked in and shocked and vibrated and bounced up and down and diagonal. And that's why some women wear those like winged glasses. I'm not even joking. That is literally, like, I'm paraphrasing, but if you read that book, you would, like, there are some OT8s who don't even believe that A History of Man is factual because it's so dog shit. So this is why this feels like, even if it's quite ridiculous to attack some right here, it's quite ridiculous to attack someone for having a point of view about something. What a statement. It is quite ridiculous to attack someone for having a viewpoint about something. If I like Scientology because it helped me, who cares? It's not affecting you. It's affecting the children who don't get the help that they should get. It affected me when I wanted to, well, I'm not going to say that. If I wanted to unalive at 9 years old, it affected me. If it affects children who get abused and their abusers just go on to succeed more in Scientology, it affects them. It's because it's not affecting you, Dr. Berg. If it doesn't, suffering for thee and not for me, because my life is great. Why people make fun of me, I don't know. He's literally a millionaire YouTuber. That's all he is. Like, he'd actually have to get a real job, and I think that's what scares him the most. If this whole YouTube thing doesn't work out, he'd actually have to go back to being a chiropractor. We're not even done. Oh, we're almost done. He says, my viewpoint, my deeper purpose is helping people, and Scientology is the epitome of help. There are so many tools and courses that increase one's ability to help. My viewpoint is always do your own research and you decide what is true for you. My advice is to use original sources. Yeah, the most original sources known to mankind. The literal Scientology.org FAQ page, or the hate arm, the literal Twitter troll, thumbsucker, like douchebag central of Scientology, Stand League. If someone wanted to know the truth about Scientology, what would you recommend? Read a book directly from the source, not secondhand or biased sources. You can take a few free courses online, a few of my favorites. He's never done an online course. There's no way. He's read them. Plus, these were all like, this is like that dude. This is exactly, I don't know how many of you watch the H3H3 podcast, but one episode I would definitely recommend is when Ethan interviewed Mark. Oh, what's his name? Mark, the Nexium guy, the Tourette's guy. Mark Elliott. He interviewed Mark Elliott. And just the way Mark is deflecting and like the leader of NXIVM branded women and psychologically manipulated his followers, mostly his female followers, to have a slave master relationship, where at the top of this like pyramid scheme for sexual slavery, he was the grand master. He was the archetype, right? They say the same shit. These dudes are like, don't read what other people tell you about DOS, this secret society of women who are abusing themselves and abusing other women. Read just directly from the source. You should read only what this person says. They're literally psychological traps. The human brain is not perfect. You can be trapped by ideology. This isn't a movie. You're not some sort of secret agent. You can be trapped. And the average person is just as susceptible as anyone else. It's just how you're targeted, who's leveraging you, what points they're pushing on, and how they isolate you. Because isolating someone, like Dr. Berg is recommending, this Dr. Berg AI is recommending, isolate yourself from all other forms of information, and without looking at any criticism, only study Scientology, only look at the good stuff, only hear X, Y, and Z, Dianetics, New Slant on Life, Basic Study Manual. It's like, which then they'll have all of your personal information and will send you letters and, sometimes come to your house and try to talk to you directly. They don't do that much anymore. Mark Elliott. Yeah, no, Mark Elliott. He's M-A-R-C Elliott. He's the guy who said he grew up with Tourette's and that NXIVM cured his Tourette's, and he offers a cure to Tourette's. It's very controversial. I think the government is like not happy that he's saying he can cure people's Tourette's, and let me pull it up for y'all.
All right, so let's...
I'm going to drop this. This is from the H3 podcast clips channel. I'm going to drop this in the chat. So if any of you after this want to watch it, I just dropped it in the chat. If any of you want to watch it, feel free. It's incredible. He kind of baits him a little bit, but this guy literally co-signed, like, he's trying to protect a cult leader who is guilty of, like, pedophilia and all this other stuff. So do not feel too bad for Mark Elliott. He's a piece of shit. But it's a very similar thing. There's this isolation in the language, which is very Scientology about this. But I just don't believe this is real. It's too cold. It's too lifeless. And it just doesn't feel like him. He'd want to take some kind of like positive, like this sounds like something he would say, but it sounds more like he answered a Q&A, like a form, and then there's some Scientologist scriptwriter who did the rest. That's kind of what it feels like. Hey, Catherine, how's it going? All right, so that's all for this. This is bizarre. This is a weird way to start my morning. I don't think it's real. But then I was like, I'm curious. I'm just an eensy bit curious because, like I said before, you can buy this website on two different sales things. You can buy this whole website. So I was like, what's happening? So I look into some information. Look at this. Look at this baby. Look at this child. He has aged horribly because this is how he looked in his like mid 30s, and now he looks like the grandpa version of this. But yeah, his face is a little thinner. Sure, that's what happens when you starve yourself. Not my other name, the Knowledge Doc. He tried so hard to brand himself. He was like, I don't want to be Dr. Berg. I want to be the Knowledge Doc. He tried so hard. Nobody gave a shit. I was looking into some stuff. There's a few articles about him. Abel S., thank you for the super chat. It's 3 p.m. Morning where? Australia? 3 p.m. It's 6 p.m. where I am. Did I say it was 3 a.m.? Did I say it was 3 p.m.? Anyway. Where is it? Let me find it first. I want to spoil the surprise. So I started Googling Dr. Berg, Scientology. I just started Googling Dr. Berg and Scientology, okay? Little did I know that not only is there, like, I guess I just didn't know there are factual people that that do critiques. Actually, to just skip to this one. This was updated today. I think it was updated. It says it was posted today, but a lot of the comments are old, so I think this is updated. So this is Dr. Eric Berg's Scammer Defrauding Thousands from Gripio. Or Gripo. I can't really tell. But this actually dictates a lot of specific nuances. And this has a lot of this is a lot of evidence. It points to the Rational Wiki. There's comparisons between experts critiquing his videos and his actual advice. It details the times he, when he plagiarized videos. It talks about his business fraud. This is actually a very well done. It talks about the violations of professional ethics. I don't know what this website is, but whoever's working on this, you are doing a really good job at just bringing the facts and just the details. You know, even here, Berg, the Scientology bug. One of the greatest supporters to someone's achievement should be his or her family. However, Dr. Berg's acts have been criticized even by his own family, with his son being on the front line of confessing that his dad is a Scientologist and that he makes frequent contributions towards this course. An article on Rational Wiki, Ian Falco, Berg's son, said that his dad was a Scientologist with a rank of OT8 and has contributed over $7 million toward this rather skeptical group. Not to toot my own horn, but yeah. Dr. Berg has over the years rejected his associations with Scientologists, and whether his son's sentiments were true or not is just another mystery. Like, he didn't ask me. You could just ask me. Just ask me, dog. Call me. I'll show you. Oh, I have so many receipts. I can't just like be posting all my shit. You know, like, here are all the receipts. Like, one thing I really dislike about this whole back and forth game when you start talking shit about Scientology, when you start exposing the truth about Scientology, is that Scientology presents itself like it's this this wholly altruistic group, this wholly purely puritanical group that would never do a single thing wrong, and if you say anything about it, you're a bigot. You're some disgusting bigot who, you know, is anti-religion, and you're just X generality. Like, they require such a high level of evidence as a group that they did anything wrong. Well, I mean, mostly because their sense of justice is completely fucked in the head. But they need such a massive level of evidence to anyone who accuses them of anything, while off the bat claiming every single one is false, every single one, even if they're found guilty, they just don't talk about it. It's a very easy way to bullshit you. All right. So, and I just find it very annoying that, you know, they're never held to that same standard. I mean, they are in courts of law, but not even really that much. It's really fucked up that they are not like, they're never required to present all this evidence as to why this never happened, or alibis or any. They don't have an interest in that. They just have an interest in vilifying anyone who comes after them so they can keep up this stupid fucking illusion that they're this big scary organization that, oh, if you talk about them, they're going to sue you. They're going to fuck you up out of existence. It's like, dog, try. David Miscavige is tiny little pathetic man. I would step on him like bug with shoe. I put on my boots and crush him like bug. No, he's far too insecure to ever show himself in public, let alone to any of his aggressors, any of his accusers, willingly. You know, my dad's not that. Dr. Berg isn't that that famous. He's actually on that note. I actually oh, where is that? Taking a look at Dr. Berg's metrics, and let me tell you, folks, it is not looking good. Not looking good at all. Let me so let's look at this real quick before we move on. This is an example of his dishonesty, okay? We're just on Social Blade, all right? Wow, look at that. 10.1 million. This was 2 weeks ago. He made this announcement. He hit 10 million subscribers, all right? That's weird. 25% fewer subscribers in the last 30 days? That's weird. Wonder why that is. Oh, what's this? Oh, what? Oh, interesting. Oh, that's weird. Since he hit 10 million, he bought nothing for a week. I'm sorry. He earned no subscribers that whole week, suddenly earned 100,000, and then have had none. Actually, if you look at his live counter, his live subscriber counter, it's a little fishy. So, you know, I'm no mathematician, guys. But 2 weeks, if you were getting 10K a week, if you were getting 10K, 20K every day, and then you're so booming, you suddenly hit 10 million, and then oops, you drop right off the face of the earth. No more. Some days he doesn't make anything. This is usually indicative of purchasing subscribers, which doesn't actually lead to an increase in your revenue as a content creator, which I'm sure is something he was unaware of when he started purchasing subscribers. But it's just another thing. This man is not interested in convincing you that the truth is easy. He is interested at just ignoring the controversial bits and telling you what he wants you to hear. That's why I don't think that article was real. Because then I would be right. Because he also didn't mention any of his family at all in that article. This was solely about him. So a little fishy, you know? All right. So despite his very controversial rise to fame, and especially his controversial business practices, being he's been sued one too many times, I just looked up Dr. Berg's Scientology, and guys, what did I find? The drericberg.com blog. Now you're thinking, oh, he has a blog? Would it surprise you if I said, no, he does not have a blog? Because when you go to the blog portion, yes, these are pictures of my parents at their farm. But what are these articles? How to fermented vegetables. The big four motorcycle manufacturers. Honda. And Yamaha. Suzuki. Kawasaki. It's like that, oh fuck, what was that scary movie too? When she's, when it was like the Ring parody or the the Grudge parody or whatever, and he was talking to that ghost kid in Japanese, but they were just like listing like Japanese like companies like Mitsubishi, Yamaha, Suzuki. Like it was stupid, but it's just what it reminds me of, because this is just like a article about motorcycle. It ends, they were some of the first foreign motorcycle manufacturers. You know, wide range of motorcycles are an excellent option for people looking at a quality ride that can handle anything. And then it ends. This is not Dr. Berg. Oh, I wasn't done. Okay, so why is gardening important to you? What the what is this? This is all there is, by the way. What's in portfolio? Oh, so these are snippets from what is this? I don't know who these guys are. Dr. Berg's aim is to put people into the driver's seat of creating health. Yeah, just a bunch of pictures of my parents. Yeah, this is not like an article. I don't know what this is. So I'm thinking that there's like some underground, like this is just somebody who likes Dr. Berg, who first of all has drericberg.com, which alarming that he lost that trademark. And they're just making like AI, I don't know if they're AI, but they're like making a blog on his behalf. Then I got into this website called Influential People News Magazine. What? Dr. Berg is a Scientologist? Posted by Jess. This is Jess in question. Hi, Jess. If you're watching this, this is very sus to me. The way this is laid out, the way the HTML kind of clips over itself. It's a little sus, okay? So it's just this massive picture that takes up the whole screen. It does nothing. There's no embedded goofiness. It's just blank. And it just goes right into, I think this, again, I don't think this is Dr. Berg. I don't know where this came from. But this does sound more like my dad in how he's talking. Okay. So this is, while I keep my personal and professional life separate, people ask me about Scientology and the fact that I'm a Scientologist. I make no secret about it, which is why I think it's fake. But it's a more convincing fake. I don't attempt to convert anyone. Still, people ask me about it. Is that why you were sued for attempting to convert people to Scientology? Is that also why I have that report that you wrote where you regularly convert people to Scientology who work for you? Never mind. I'll get back to this. It's a science of knowledge. It's also knowing how to know. It's a way to better conditions in your life and the lives of others. A Scientologist is simply one who uses the subject and its technology to better their own life and the lives of others. Whether that's trafficking your kids, whether that's ignoring abuses of fellow members, as if somebody says, I'm being hurt by the church in one way, you write them up, you report them for having hidden crimes. Otherwise, why would you be critical about Scientology? It's so fucked up, but it's consistent because it's consistency, because it's standard tech. It has to be applied the way L. Ron Hubbard wrote it for it to be standard. Okay? Do not let a Scientologist make an idiot out of you. Somebody ever says, well, you don't understand Scientology. You say, do you believe that the text should be delivered standardly per LRH? And they'll be like, what? Well, yeah, but you don't even know what that means. It's like, yeah, but you do. So why lie? Why lie about things you don't understand? Why lie about topics that you're not interested in just to cover up Scientology when you know all they're doing is covering their own asses by applying this technology? I'm getting a little convoluted. So my chair is starting to squeak. I think there's a bolt that's loose on my chair. But I lost the Allen wrench. Oh yeah, I need that. I need to find that Allen wrench actually. I'll do that later. All right. I realize that doesn't sound too controversial, but some people are obsessed with controversy, conflict, harm, mayhem, betrayal. These are the bread and butter of the news media, the merchants of chaos. The more chaos, the more tumult, the more dollar signs for them and their sponsors. This is clipped from probably one of his. This is clipped from a more dedicated Scientology sort of article. This is more conversational, which is why it's less sort of chat GPT and more like a real person who is describing the Merchants of Chaos in a way that they're approved to describe it. Because the Merchants of Chaos is a very sewn in understanding when it comes to Scientology. I first discovered Scientology 30 years ago after an associate doctor warned me not to look into it. I did the opposite and looked into it directly and forthwith. Maybe that's why intelligent medical professionals don't respect you, because you're a fucking moron. God. Anyone telling me not to look at it, which is why, and then this is why it makes it seem real, because it's like, why would they be so consistent? And why on these fucking random ass sites, these buried in the weeds sites with articles written by people that don't exist, giving details with that don't match up and giving like really shitty, whatchamacallit, really shitty proofreading on websites that are like pop up for purchase websites. You know what I mean? Like, why? It's so confusing. I went to the source. Oh, anyone telling me not to look at something brings up an immediate red flag in my book, except when they tell you, no one's saying, except when Scientology tells you to not look into the human trafficking allegations or the sexual abuse allegations or the covering up of sexual abuse allegations or David Miscavige beating his subordinates physically allegations or the whole or Lisa McPherson or any of the any of the OT8s who have recently taken their own lives because of how, for whatever reason. Definitely don't look into that. I went to the source of the subject's books by its founder and I talked with Scientologists. I wasn't particularly interested in secondhand information or hearsay. It is secondhand when you talk with Scientologists about Scientology. That's still secondhand. I hate to break it to you, Doc. From my early studies in the subject up until now, I found it rational, logical, and immensely practical. Okay. Yeah, he's not a very bright guy, so I wouldn't. Even if you disagree with that opinion that he's a bright guy, you only know one side of him, a scripted, curated, nutrition-focused side. So even if you agree with that, even if you, by some chance, are able to look past his affiliations and just love him for the sake of having a guru to love, you still don't know this person. You have created a parasocial relationship with a ketogenic diet guru who sells you $20 bottles of shitty conditioner and overpriced. I looked on Amazon. His prices for the same products, because people are now just making the same products that he made. His products are twice as expensive as the same as the off-brand, you would say, products. He's not a name brand. But I have looked it up. I actually recently I needed to buy some wheatgrass powder just because I like it. And the one that I bought was the same ingredients from the same company that sells his. But his was literally like $47. And the other brand, which is just, some other company, was like $23. And I was like, easy decision. So do not buy Dr. Berg because his prices are more expensive. And that is why I'm saying it. Not even saying that all of his, that he's lying about the ingredients. Vitamins are not a perfect science. Like selling nutritional supplements, especially for him, it's not like a thorough investigated like scientific thing he's done. He's just like, oh, people need this, so I'll make it. And it's not buy cheap from a source that is actually going to give you the vitamins. Do not overspend on these products. They are not going to give you any additional benefit. Don't buy his shampoo and conditioner, please. I beg you. Like, I saw he was making conditioner. I was like, what kind of late stage guruism, late stage capitalist guruism is like, soon he's going to be selling like pencils with his name on it and like coffee mugs and like, what is it? Like, he's going to go back to the branded tote bags and, just like pointless shit to fill his pockets. So this is a lot of bullshit. He says all this stuff about how it's perfect. It hasn't, like he's trying to educate people. He doesn't really know how to do that, but he's like giving a lot of anecdotal personal experience to say why it is the most correct place to find yourself. And it is the only way, like the Scientology way to promote Scientology is to claim that it is the best way, compare it to everything else as everything else being lesser than Scientology, and then to say, but that's just what I experienced. So I just found a path that works for me, and only you can find and walk yours. It's like, come on, be more pretentious. Be less objective. Anyway, so then, and that's all it says. It's not an article. It's literally just that posted. So I don't know. He said it, where he said it, when this was said. I have no idea. Then I stumbled around and found more. Us versus them mentality, Cult 101. Yeah, it's like you can't take an ultimate position. Just be fucking honest with yourself. Say Scientology is better than all the other religions. Just say that. If that's what you believe, you lying about it makes you manipulative. Cornerstone of a cult. I have met people who believe in Islam who just tell me straight up, Islam is the way. It's better than anything else out there. I believe, like, they have conviction in what they believe, and that's fine. Some people, I've had Jewish friends, I've had Muslim friends, I've had, I've had Christian friends. They all have different perspectives, but like, I know you're bullshitting me when you're like, it's the only way to, when you make it like an ultimate system that stands above everything else, and then like hold it like this little key jingle or this little like, but you don't want it because you're a piece of shit kind of like undertone, and we've all seen that, but like, it's just so disingenuous and so pathetic. It shows you how narcissistic he is because he doesn't have the capacity to relate to you or to actually talk to you about it. What he's going to do is say, I've heard people bitching about this thing that they don't know anything about. I know everything about it. Here's why it's perfect and has always worked and worked for me, which is also hilarious. If I could tell you some of the things that have happened in my childhood home because of Scientology. Like just random stuff that wouldn't make a lot of sense to someone who wasn't in Scientology. Like my dad, like breaking a door off the hinges in a room where my mom kept all of her OT materials because he couldn't get into the room. And my mom screaming, crying about her security clearance with the org. And he's just like, he doesn't give a fuck. He's just doing his little, cause he had like a webinar to do or something, like just a lot of weird, like technical shit. Claiming in this all encompassing scripted thought that he is in the best thing and this thing works for people and this is why it works for people by using generalities, and then holding it back like, bet you thought that was pretty cool, huh? Well, you don't get it. You have to earn it. It's like Grant Cardone level. I mean, Grant Cardone, you know where he got that. But it's like, it's just typical shit. Typical cult shit. I have to take my shirt off, but I don't want y'all to get thirsty. Okay. Some of y'all be wild in the comments, so I ain't gonna give you the luxury. All right. I drink water when I get thirsty. Oh, Marcia. All right, so then I came across this, which is this is I don't know, this is Dr. Eric Berg's scam.blogspot.com, and I recommend all of you to read this. I don't think I'm going to get through all of it. I didn't expect to do a full 4 hours today. I just wanted to cover these few things, especially the first one. But this is something really good. I'll drop this in the chat also if some of you want to read it. This is a first-hand account of somebody who went to his... there, I dropped it in the chat. This is a first-hand account of somebody who worked with Dr. Berg, but had a lot of things to say about his the nuances of his practice. This is all very accurate. Like right here, when an establishment doesn't offer even a basic 3-day cancellation period on such high-priced products like all those at the Health and Wellness Center, it is a major red flag. A decent and reputable company wouldn't have to resort to deceptive bait advertising and hard sell tactics, which up here, yeah, he does. They utilize fraudulent and deceptive bait and switch advertising tactics to lure customers in with the promise of a free consultation, and then proceed to use aggressive hard sell sales pitches to pressure customers into purchasing a ridiculously overpriced and bogus treatment program, which is true. His old program at the Health and Wellness Center was exuberantly expensive. And he only just does a little bit of light acupressure and gives you a diet plan. That is all he did. That is all he ever did. He even stopped doing chiropractic around the time he started doing the acupressure. My chair's about to break again. So this person does a really good a good analysis. I think this person has worked either adjacent to, with, or attempted to work with Dr. Berg. This guy would have been called a suppressive person by my dad, absolutely, by Dr. Berg, because they're critical. Because he has a skewed definition of critical. If you find any way to contact Dr. Berg and ask him to define critical, define critique, define the difference between Scientology's definition of critical and, like, he'll be like, well, what you don't know is that people who are critical actually commit crimes against that which they're critical of. Yeah, what if you're critical of the Nazi Party for genocides? Did I do crimes against the Nazi Party? I would like to, but that's not why I'm critical of them. More so critical that they did the whole eugenics genocide thing, based on the delusional musings of a failed artist whose mustard-gassed, brain-damaged head told him that eugenics was somehow viable before we really knew anything about practical, like, science. So there's a lot of fake shit on here. I just can't believe. I also found this. What is this? How to Get Rich Farming by Dr. Eric Berg. This is not him. I don't know what this is. How to Get Rich Farming? What the fuck does that even mean? It can be very profitable if you can produce garlic well. It is liked by customers and has distinctive taste. This is not him, but I love this. I love this subgenre of, like, clout hopping Dr. Berg by pretending to be real, just to, like, just to what? Have a blog. I don't understand it. Maybe I'm something wrong with me that I just don't understand why someone would want to make a Tumblr called Dr. Eric Berg Scientology.tumblr.com to make an article called Making Money in Agriculture. I personally what? Wait. What? Guys, I didn't start reading this until just now. This is what I was just talking about, the Dr. Eric Berg Scientology at Tumblr. Okay, I just caught it. In the corner of my eye. You may earn money on your farm in a number of ways, regardless of whether your goal is to use it as a full-time company or just sell it to supplement your income. Selling crops is the first and foremost straightforward method. Blah, 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 blah. Farmer pumpkins are purchased by pumpkin patches. Oh, say that 10 times fast. Who then sell them to agri-tourists who stop by their booths. Additionally, they sell in bulk. Okay. I was like, blah, 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 whatever. And then I scroll down here. In Red Dead Redemption 2, selling pelts is a wonderful method to earn money. They may be used to make swords, moccasins, hunting coats, but it's crucial to know where to sell them and how to receive maximum payment for your pelts. It's crucial to slaughter animals in the perfect condition if you want to maximize your pelt revenues. The important organ of an animal, such as the heart, brain, must be struck critically or fatally. Using a bow and small game arrows while maxing out your Deadeye skill is the most important method to do this in order to raise the quality of your pelts. You may also hunt the legendary buck in Mount Shan's western region, which can be turned into a buck antler trinket, which is true in Red Dead Redemption 2. Which I know I'm not the best at crafting in that game. But this is like bananas. What is the world right now? Where are we? Maybe this is the Matrix, that I've woken up into this. But I love this comparison because this is correct. This is a brilliant comparison. But this is also feels very Chat GPT. AI and Scientology do not mix. I just feel like it gives me too much of a reason to sit in front of you, to be irrationally upset at the dumbest fucking articles that I can find. But you know what? It's for the greater good. Has Red Dead Online gotten better? I stopped playing a couple years ago, but always wanted more. I'm just going to take a left turn and answer this question as honestly as I can because it actually means something more than these articles. And Dr. Berg hasn't touched a video game in his life, so this is clearly fake. Yeah, I tried to play Red Dead Online with a friend of mine. I have it installed. I play it here and there, but it's got some bugs, and they're not really too keen on fixing it until GTA 6 comes out. I think they stopped working. Rockstar said they stopped working on all of their other products except for GTA 6. So once 6 comes out, it better be like the best game known to mankind. Otherwise, everyone will be mad. But then they need to go back and work on Red Dead Online because there are an atrocious amount of bugs in that game. Also, I can't make my character look like me because I'm a little goofy with the... I don't want to spend like 10 gold just to change my look, just so that I can like mess up my nose or something. I got a weird nose curve, a very Polish kind of profile. I was level 300 and gave up on it to sell real estate. That's all you needed. The motivation from getting boloed one too many times in Red Dead Online. All right. So let's take some questions. Let's do some random, as Scientology would say, some randomity. Let's do some questions, whatever you want. It is now in your court. We can watch a power washing video, or we can Are my siblings still in? Yes, they are. My sister Ollie is in, but doing God knows what. And my brother is still on staff at the DC org on 16th and P in Washington, D.C. I am 64. How old are you? I am 26 years old. I turned 27 on April 30th of this year. So this month, pretty cool. Not sure what I want to do, but I'm probably pretty sure it'll just involve eating a cheeseburger, and yeah, that's all I that's all I really feel like doing, to be honest. So you're a Taurus. Yes, I am a Taurus. And Dr. Berg's an Aries. Obviously, couldn't you tell? So very young. You seem more mature. That's what trauma does, believe it or not. Wish there were a better way to mature a person, but trauma will do you good. All right. What's next? Come on, guys. Engage. I'm giving you the opportunity. Let's converse. Let's be introspective. This is half the time my normal streams run, so I'm just I'm trying to fill the void. Jobo, I keep certain things to myself because, so certain things I keep to myself because Scientology is actively looking for a way to exploit me. So I prefer to keep that to myself. But anything else, it's the same question, like, and where do you live? And what's your, and what's your zip code? And what's, and where do you work? And what routes do you drive to get to work? It's like, obviously I'm not going to answer any of those questions. You were born in Baton Rouge. I was born in Shreveport, Louisiana, April 30th, 1996. Which is weird because now I feel like I see people who were born in like 2010 who are like teenagers now, and I'm like, I'm old. Where'd I get my tat done? I got it from a guy. I'll shout him out. It's a cover up. Let me find where I forgot his name. Is that well, we haven't talked in a long time, so his name is hold that thought. Keep the questions coming. His name is Brennan Cox. Chapter House Tattoo in Baltimore, Maryland. I don't know if you can see it very well, but it's a cover up. It was like just a normal. It was like a mix. I gave him some inspiration. I gave him some ideas. He gave me a tattoo design that I loved. It's actually not even done, to be honest. I haven't gone back and fixed it, but gave him a design. He gave me a design that I absolutely loved, and then I went in there, and then he changed the design, and I was like, I like the other one better. I like the other one more, but he was he's a really nice guy. I was in the chair for it was like 6.5 hours, I think. I just said let's get it done. So this was all in one session, and I was pretty weak in the legs after, but you know, I have a lot of tattoos I want to get. I just don't have a lot of. I'm not just like tattoo rich. I don't have like a wealth of money I can just throw at tattoos. I'm not really that. Yes, I know it's disappointing, but I'm actually not on Big Pharma's payroll. I know, controversy. But sadly, there is no Big Pharma payroll because there is no Big Pharma conspiracy. None like Scientology has attempted to propagate. Sadly, there is no chest of millions waiting for you on the outside. If only. I have another tattoo, and I got it when I was 16, and it's basically because I saw Max Payne, and I was really into Norse mythology at the time, and I got it on my 16th birthday. It's a Norse Valkyrie. It's just like I thought it was cool. I might build on it. I might change it. It's just I like the idea, the concept of like, you know, it's kind of a beautiful concept to die a warrior's death, and you know, sort of proving yourself in this kind of ultimate way. You know, I don't really believe that I'll be picked up by a Valkyrie and taken to Valhalla if I die, but it's cool. It's symbolism. It's human symbolism. I have a couple tattoos I want to get, but I do not have the money to do that. How long have you been growing your hair? Did you have it long when you were in Scientology? I did not. Actually, I look like some people think that some people don't believe my story because of how different I looked when I was in Scientology. This is what I used to look like. This is oh, okay. This is for some reason playing in VLC. This is what I used to look like. Let's get another one here. Why is it all playing in VLC? Why are they video files? It's an image. This is also how I used to look. Some like the look. Some, you know, these are all my little badges, my little pins showing how much I did in Scientology. This is me in staff uniform when I was on staff in Atlanta. But some people think this is a different person, which I don't understand. I think those people are probably kind of dumb. But a lot of people were interested in this look. Also, this one. Oh boy. I don't want this to break, so I'm just gonna. Why is this not just a fucking picture? Hello? Here we go. Here's all of us together. So this is my dad, Dr. Eric Berg. This is me attaining the state of clear with my clear bracelet. This is my mom, Karen Leslie Berg. You see, I'm on the lower step, and I'm still almost as tall as, like, I'm taller than everyone else in my family. The biggest problem I have is like in the corner of this frame here. First of all, I look kind of like a goober. I don't know what about this mentality made my eyes look like that, but there's these fingerprints on the side of the frame down here that are just so obvious. Also, why Karen got the dogs out? You put them dogs away, Karen. Will you put some normal ass shoes on? White women, am I right? She got the dogs out for no reason. But I always wanted to see how long my hair would get if I just grew it out, so I did. And I haven't cut it since I left Scientology. And now it's like long as fuck. And I like it. You must be 3 or 4 times taller than David Miscavige. I think I'm about 10 times taller than David Miscavige. He's a tiny one. He's a tiny little lad. The Tom Cruise inspired turtleneck is killing me. Now, it's interesting that you say that because that's the staff uniform. That's the second half of the staff uniform. The staff uniform is either the turtleneck and the pants and the vest and the jacket, or it's like a white, it's totally white and it's and with the vest and the jacket. Like there's a vest, but I never wore the vest because the vest looked really goofy. The vest was like I would rather be declared an SP than wear that vest. I'm not gonna lie. I did wear a vest once or twice, but it's not a look. It's really it like just makes you look real frumpy. There's no easy way to wear that vest. So I preferred, I definitely preferred just the suit jacket. I still have that jacket, to be honest. I don't know if it fits anymore. I've gained some mass since then. I was very thin and very weak back then. And I've kind of worked out a bit. So like even my my most casual, I'm like bulking out of all my old clothes. I tried to get my husband to not go see Maverick. I failed. He failed. That movie was dog shit. There were so many he can't even do the Tom Cruise thing right anymore. I feel like Tom Cruise stopped acting after Magnolia, I think. And then he just turned into stunt performer guy. And now he can't even do that right. Now he's doing Maverick where he's surviving an explosion at 10 G's in a plane and he has to Star Wars run outmaneuver. He has to the Last Hope maneuver the most Ace Combat, the most 2009 Ace Combat looking anti-aircraft systems I've ever seen in my life through the fucking Death Star Canyon to hit a tiny point without a targeting system. Missiles need targeting systems really bad. They really need targeting system. You can't eyeball that shit. So I just find it so uninspired and he was behind enemy lines. Spoiler alert for Tom Cruise Maverick. For Top Gun Maverick. He's behind enemy lines and then outruns a fucking Harrier jet, lighting him up with a minigun. I was like, okay, I can see The Rock doing this or Jason Statham doing this. I did not see Tom Cruise. I thought he had a little bit more class, but I gave him way too much credit. All my relationships are parasocial. Slay. Just eat it, queen. At least you're honest. That's all I want from y'all. Just be honest about who you are My chair is falling to pieces. Definitely gonna have to fix this chair. This is my second chair. My first chair has already broken. Because I lean back on it and I'm heavy. I'm a little too heavy. There's an interpretation that everything after ejecting from the movie is all a fever dream, but who knows? Nobody would survive an ejection at that speed and arrive at the dinner like nothing happened. He would have been vaporized. So I mean, yeah, I don't think he's that deep. I don't think he's that smart. Like, he's not that, like, what if it was like all like a dream? Like, then we're getting into Vanilla Sky. Is that what that movie was called? What's your social security number? I think it's 9. Probably. I think 9. I think that's it. Adeline, I don't have to be old to know what a dumb movie looks like. I don't have to be old to know that a cult isn't the best way to spend your time. And honestly, Tom Cruise is almost 60 years old. He might actually be 60. He's the same age as my mom. I think like a year younger than my mom. And he doesn't have critical thinking skills. Not with terms of he's been funding a human trafficking cult that abuses children for the past fucking 30 years. So, you know. Mickey Rourke said his acting was lousy. Yeah. Like, I get laid more than Tom Cruise. So I think that tells you how much cooler Tom Cruise is than me. Is that he doesn't get any. And he's like famously not a cool dude to date or get with. But I do pretty well for myself. So I'll let you make your own interpretations from there. That's all I'm going to say. I'm also like way taller. Not like it matters, but I'm a lot taller than Tom Cruise. I have seen him in real life. I have walked by him. He is like under my nipple level. He is like he is down here. Like, he's very short. I'd be like, hey, little guy. Give him little scritches on his head because he's being a little good boy wearing his sunglasses indoors. But yeah. Anyway. All right, y'all. I think that's all I got. Let me that's all I got for now. I feel satiated. I feel like this a weight has been lifted from my shoulders to have to talk about this. I'm awaiting the day that we actually get a proper response from my dad, but I'm willing to have him on my channel. I know that sounds insane, but like, you want to defend yourself. You want to get your people back. You want to get, like, if you think that I'm, inflammatory and that you've maybe lost some real followers, not the purchase followers, but you want to get some of your followers back, come on my channel. I will give you the benefit of the doubt. We'll have a nice, hopefully, conversation. Not going to let you run the whole thing, okay, because it's not your show. But I'll let you state your case. And I would call him and tell him that, but he's blocked every number. I've been trying to, I don't know if you know this, I've been trying to get some property back from him and the rest of my family, and every one of my family members block me. Because they're in a cult that believes that ultimate disconnection and shunning is better than just rational problem solving and empathetic and empathy, period. Full stop. Talk about logic, reasonable. I'm happy to have hung out with y'all. Can't wait to do it again. I'm gonna come up with some more topics, and we're gonna hit it. We're gonna fuck it up. We're gonna have a good time. I don't know when. I'll keep you guys updated. Love you all. You're my babies. I love you. All right, y'all. Peace.